Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday. Yeah, this is Thomas. You're back at SFF180, and you do, in fact, get a mailbag today. Late in the day, I know, for the Christmas Eve mailbag, but of course, this morning, which is when I usually post my videos, post my mailbags, I posted the 2019 anticipated fantasy releases video. So go check that out already if you haven't. And tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, tomorrow's Christmas, derp. Day after Christmas, Wednesday morning, you will be getting the anticipated science fiction releases for 2019. You'll be getting that video bright and early in the morning, so look forward to that. Thank you all for joining me. Surprisingly, it is a pretty full mailbag today. We got a lot of stuff, I think 15, 16 packages to look at. Really exciting for the end of the year. It doesn't usually bulk up like this towards the end of the year, so that's kind of cool. Before we get into the books, I just wanted to add, if you wanted to do something in the Christmas spirit, something nice for SFF180, please consider my Patreon. It's only $2 a month, and it is very much a big help in terms of just the regular operating costs of doing this channel. I recently had to kick a person. I had to ban someone, which is sad, because I think that they were a fake account. They were fake pledges, which sadly is a thing that occasionally happens on Patreon. But I was noticing that the same person kept getting declined at the beginning of each month, you know, when it comes time to actually, like, bill everyone. And it was sad, because it was someone who was, like, you know, pledging at a higher than usual level, too. And, but I think they weren't the real deal. It's a shame that people are like that. I don't know why that happens. I'm glad it's not common. But it's a thing that happens, you know? It's kind of like dating apps, you know? It's like, oh, wow, this really kind of cute person's interested in me, and they're a fake account. Great, you know? It's a thing that happens, right? But if you're curious as to what I do spend my Patreon money on, pretty much it goes to my thumbnail art. Matt Olson, my thumbnail artist, that's what I pay him with. And his artwork has graced my channel for the whole 5 years that I've been doing this, and I've been very, very fortunate to have him and to work with him. His thumbnails are beautifully illustrated. I think that they are unique in BookTube. They give SFF180 its unique character as a channel. And I think you'll agree lately with some of his most recent thumbnails, he has just been going above and beyond, and it's wonderful. I'm very, very lucky for that. So that is how I take care of Matt. Yes, he's a friend of mine, but he's also a professional artist, and so I pay him because that is what you do. You pay your artists, right? It is just the right thing to do. Okay, so that's it in terms of announcements. So before, I guess, either you are going to have Christmas Eve dinner or you are done with your Christmas Eve dinner and in the process of digesting it, well, then now it is time for you to sit back and join me as we see what is in these packages. And this first one feels like a pretty big old thick book from Random Penguin. And this first one comes in from Berkeley Books, and it is an arc for The War Within by Stephen R. Donaldson. And this is the second book in his current trilogy, or series as the case may be, The Great God's War. It's the sequel to The Seventh Decimate, which I have, but I still haven't read. This one is much thicker than The Seventh Decimate. But this one comes out April the 2nd. And it says, yeah, it's The Great God's War fantasy epic as two kingdoms united by force prepare to be challenged by a merciless enemy. So yes, it's that kind of epic fantasy saga with, you know, battles galore and that kind of thing. So, April the 2nd for the War Within, second volume of The Great God's War by Stephen R. Donaldson. And this is also from Random Penguin. And this is from my buddy Marshall Ryan Maresca, who keeps churning out these Maraudane novels faster than I can keep up. But I promised him that I was going to do some special Maraudane coverage soon, and that is still in the pipeline, so watch out for that. But this is A Parliament of Bodies, and as you may know, Marshall's series, which is very much, I think, in that Scott Lynch vein, he has like these multiple trilogies and multiple series going on at once, and set in the same world. And see, this is the third novel in the Maraudane Constabulary series. And the previous volumes were A Murder of Mages and An Import of Intrigue. Okay, and it's one of 4, there it is, concurrent series in the city of Meridian, featuring separate stories in the same setting. The city of Meridian in this book is vexed by the Gearbox murders, a series of gruesome deaths orchestrated by a twisted mechanical genius. With no motive and no pattern, the inspectors are at a loss to find a meaningful lead in the case. At least until the killer makes his most audacious exhibit yet, over a dozen victims in a clockwork death trap on the floor of the Druth Parliament. Wow, the crime scene is a madhouse and political forces conspire to grind their investigation to a halt. While Citrine and Minox struggle to stop the Gearbox from claiming even more victims, the grinding gears of injustice might keep them from ever solving these murders and threaten to dismantle their partnership forever. Okay, so you basically have this epic fantasy version of Law and Order, and it seems like this one has a little bit of Saw involved, or something like that, right? But A Parliament of Bodies is March 26th from Daw Books. Oh, this is from 47 North. Interesting. I don't get too many books from them too often, but let's see. Okay, well this is something called Smoke and Summons. The author is Charlie N. Holmberg. Says this comes out on February the 1st. And it's the first book, it says, in a thrilling new fantasy series set in a captivating world of monsters and magic where humans play host to ancient spirits. As a human vessel for an ancient spirit, Sandis lives no ordinary life. At the command of her master, she can be transformed against her will into his weapon, a raging monster summoned to do his bidding. Unlike other vessels, Sandis can host extremely powerful spirits, but hosting such creatures can be fatal. To stay alive, she must run, and in a city fueled by smoke and corruption, she finds a surprising ally. A cunning thief for hire, Roan owns a rare device that grants him immortality for 1 minute every day. A unique... Oh, okay, maybe it means like he can't be... Like, why, if you're immortal only for a minute, what's the point? Maybe it means like he can't be killed or something. A unique advantage that will come in handy in Sandis' fight for freedom. But Sandis' master knows how powerful she is. He's determined to get her back, and he has the power to find her wherever she runs. Now, to outwit her pursuers, Sandis must put all her trust in Roan and his immortal device. For her master has summoned more than mere men to hunt her down. Okay, well that sounds like it could be full of action and suspense, doesn't it? But Smoke and Summons, the author is Charlie N. Holmberg, and as I said, it comes out February the 1st. Let me know in the comments. And this one looks tantalizing. As you see, it is a little box from the Hachette group. Let's see what's in it. Very happy to see this. A couple of books here, upcoming titles from Orbit. And the first of these is Shadow Captain by Alistair Reynolds. This is his sequel to Revenger, the YA book that he did about 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm really happy to see this. Let's see, it's Shadow Captain is a desperate tale of cursed ships, vengeful corporations, alien artifacts, and wealth beyond imagining, and of betrayal. All right then, so Shadow Captain is a January release from Orbit Books. And this next one, if you watched my video this morning, my anticipated fantasy video, we have The Gutter Prayer by Gareth Hanrahan. This is the first book in a series called The Black Iron Legacy, apparently. And it goes kind of like this. Enter a city of saints and thieves. The city of Gerdon stands eternal, a refuge from the war that rages beyond its borders. But in the ancient tunnels, deep beneath its streets, a malevolent power has begun to stir. The fate of the city rests in the hands of 3 thieves. They alone stand against the coming darkness. As conspiracies unfold and secrets are revealed, their friendship will be tested to the limit. If they fail, all will be lost, and the streets of Gerdon will run with blood. It's an epic tale of sorcerers and thieves, treachery and revenge. From A New Voice in Fantasy. So here you have it, The Gutter Prayer. And it comes out in January from Orbit. Okay, here's another one from the Hachette group, probably Orbit Books. Let's see what's in here. And here are a couple of titles that are already out in stores right now. The first of these is A Bad Deal for the Whole Galaxy by Alex White. This is the 2nd volume in the Salvagers series after Big Ship at the End of the Universe. This is a space opera series that also contains some elements of magic. And it is about the crew of the Capricious, and it's very much trying to go for that, obviously, that Firefly vibe, right? So in this one, let's see. A toxic cult with powerful magics, a turncoat treasure hunter with an ancient grudge, and a creature made of death and shadows. The crew of the Capricious has pissed all of them off. After their last haul, the crew is rich enough to retire in luxury for the rest of their days, but none of it matters if the galaxy is still in danger. The only way to take down the organization that wants them dead is from the inside. So I understand that these are a whole hell of a lot of fun, so I want to start reading them pretty soon. Why not, right? But A Bad Deal for the Whole Galaxy is out now from Orbit Books. And also in that package they have sent me at last, thank you very much, How Long Till Black Future Month. This is the first short fiction collection by N.K. Jemisin. And the reason I'm getting these so late is because usually with physical releases, if I want them, I kind of have to ask for them from Orbit. Orbit usually just sets me up on, auto approval on NetGalley. But, I've let them know it's nice to have a physical copy so that I can show them off on this program for you folks. And How Long Till Black Future Month, as you know, is out. It's been out about a month now. And this is where to get some of N.K. Jemisin's finest short fiction. Interestingly enough, it's the first hardcover release of hers that they have ever done. And it's her short fiction release. But I wouldn't mind having hardcovers of, the Broken Earth trilogy, but that's fine. Anyway, this is out and available now from Orbit Books. And this next one is from HarperCollins. Okay. And this one is Mahimata. This is the sequel to Markswoman by Rati Mehrotra. And it is the second half of the Asiana duology. Okay. Rati Mehrotra returns to the world of Asiana and the Order of Kali in this action-packed follow-up to Markswoman. And this comes out on March the 5th. A sweeping, swiftly paced adventure in a truly original world. Mahimata displays the inventiveness of the works of Sarah Beth Durst, Marie Lu, and S.J. Kincaid, with all the intrigue, romance, and strong characters that will appeal to crossover audiences. It's not being marketed as a YA fantasy, but it looks like one and appears to read like one. I have heard, mixed reviews of Markswoman, but I still have it on my stack, and now that I have both of them, maybe I'll give them a try. But like I said, Mahimata comes out on March the 5th from Harper Voyager. And next we have, big old package full of multiple items, it feels like. And this is from Macmillan. Interesting. Let's see what we have. Okay, this is interesting. I wasn't expecting to get copies of these, but I knew that they had been released. In fact, these came out about a month ago. You can't see the spines very well, so I'll hold them up normally. I'll hold this one. These are from Tor, and what they've done is they have re-released the first 3 volumes in the Recluse series, the Magic of Recluse series, by Ellie Modesett Jr., which I think now has something like 20 books in it. They've re-released the first 3 with newer covers, and pretty nice covers, if I do say so myself. These, I'll be honest with you. Brief précis is that the Recluse series is set in a world where the magic system is based on order and chaos. How to say? I have read the first 2. I've read The Magic of Recluse, and I have read The Towers of the Sunset, which is the second one. They do not necessarily follow in strict sequence, so you can, kind of read them in either order, whatever you like. I won't say I'm the biggest fan in the world. I think Modesett does some things very well, but at the same time, I think that he tends to be very draggy as a storyteller. I think I remember giving The Magic of Recluse 3 stars and Towers of the Sunset 2.5. Seriously. And I started the third one, The Magic Engineer, and got about 100 pages in and was like, nah. Doesn't mean, though, that maybe it's not worthy for a restart, but so I can't, I cannot in all honesty recommend these with great enthusiasm, but I know that the series has gone on and on and on and on, what have you, and maybe he got better at his craft as he progressed and all that. But if you are a fan, or if you've been interested in trying them, well, there are new paperbacks out, and as you see, they have newer and more contemporary-looking fantasy covers. So, The Magic of Recluse, The Towers of the Sunset, and The Magic Engineer from Tor Books in mass market paperback. Okay, here's a package that has come to me from the UK. Very unusual to get to actual physical review copies from overseas because, of course, shipping is insanely expensive. But they've sent me a couple of items, so let's see what's in them, shall we? Well, this is very nice to see. This is something called the Outcast Hours, and it is an anthology on the Solaris imprint. The editors are Mavesh Murad and Jared Shurin. Okay, and the contributors include China Mieville, Francis Harding, and a whole bunch of other people. All right, well, let's see what this one is all about. It says, these are the stories of people who live at night under neon and starlight and never the light of the sun. These are the stories of poets and police, Tourists and traders, the hidden and the forbidden, the lonely and the lovers, this is their time. The Outcast Hours gathers over 24 brand new stories from award-winning writers across genres and continents, including bold new fiction from Marina Warner, Frances Harding, China Mieville, Sami Shah, Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Jeffrey Allen Love, Maha Khan Phillips, and many, many more. Okay, so not necessarily everyone in here is a fantasy or a weird fiction author, but wow, this looks fascinating. It's got a 2019 copyright in it, so it's probably a January release. The Outcast Hours. Okay, and this other one from Rebellion did come with the sell sheet, and I also got a little handwritten note in there from the publicist. That's very nice to see. This is another anthology, and it is called New Suns. Original. You can add that one to your lexicon. I just invented that. You can have it for free. This is original speculative fiction by people of color. Okay. There's nothing new under the sun, but there are new suns. And this one comes out in March. All right. Showcases emerging and seasoned writers of many races telling stories filled with shocking delights, powerful visions of the familiar made strange. Between this book's covers burn tales of science fiction, fantasy, horror, and their indefinable overlappings. These are authors aware of our many possible pasts and futures, authors freed of stereotypes and cliched expectations, ready to dazzle you with their daring genius. Okay. Sylvia Moreno Garcia is in here, Stephen Barnes is in here, Karen Lowachi, E. Lily Yu, I think I've read something of hers, Andrea Hairston, Tobias Buckle, Rebecca Rowanhorse, Indra Das again, and several other names that I do not recognize. This is really, really exciting. The New Suns anthology arrives in March, as I said, from Solaris Books. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And next up we have a nice thick envelope from Macmillan. What could this be? Well, I have a pair of ARCs from St. Martin's Press, looks like. This one comes out April the 23rd. It's The Pandora Room. The author is Christopher Golden, a name I'm familiar with. And let's see what this one is all about. It says, when what appears to be the original Pandora's box is discovered in an ancient city, neighboring countries fight for ownership and unleash a terrible plague. That would totally happen, right? Like if we actually discovered a real Pandora's box in the world, you know, some douchebag, political leader somewhere would just open the thing. Wouldn't care, he'd just do it. Now, in a subterranean city in northern Iraq, archaeologist Sophie Durand has discovered a secret chamber covered in writing that confirms that version of the tale, a chamber which contains a single jar. Weird shit expert Ben Walker. Okay, you know what? I think this is, these are the same characters from a book called Ararat. Yes, that's right. So it's like this kind of archaeological horror adventure stories. All right, well, this could be fun. Ben Walker joins Sophie's team just as mystery deepens and grows ugly. Those who believe the myth want to know which jar has been found in the Pandora Room, the one containing blessings or the one full of curses. What do you think, people at home? Okay, governments rush to lay claim, but jihadi forces aren't waiting for the dust to settle. Whatever the jar contains, they want it, no matter who they have to kill or what will emerge when they open it. For Sophie, Walker, and the others, the Pandora Room may soon become their tomb. Right, this sounds absolutely just silly as balls, but who knows? If you're in the mood for something silly, it could just, fit the ticket, right? But April the 23rd for the Pandora Room. Okay, and on a slightly less goofy note, this is Last Tango in Cyberspace, an arc for a book that comes out May the 14th. The author is Stephen Kotler, and as you might have guessed, this is kind of, like a late-stage cyberpunk novel, as it were. So let's see. In the tradition of William Gibson and Neil Stephenson, of course. Hard to say when the human species fractured exactly. Harder to say when this new talent arrived, but Lion Zorn is the first of his kind, an empathy tracker, an emotional soothsayer, with a felt sense for the future of the we. W-E. In simpler terms, he can spot cultural shifts and trends before they happen. It's a useful skill for a certain kind of company. Arctic Pharmaceuticals is that kind of company, but when a routine M-tracking job leads to the discovery of a gruesome murder, Lion finds himself neck-deep in a world of echo-assassins, soul hackers and consciousness terrorists. But what the man really needs is a nap. A unique blend of cutting-edge technology and traditional cyberpunk, Last Tango in Cyberspace explores hot topics like psychology, neuroscience, technology, as well as ecological and animal rights issues. The world created in Last Tango is based very closely on our world, world about 5 years from now, and all the technology in the book either exists in labs or is rumored to exist. Okay, well that could cover anything. With its electrifying sentences, subtle humor, and an intriguing main character, readers are sure to find something that resonates with them in this groundbreaking cyberpunk science fiction thriller. Okay, well that sounds like definitely up my alley. But May the 14th for Last Tango in Cyberspace by Stephen Kotler. Let me know in the comments. And moving on down the stack, I can't quite tell who this is from, so it's a mystery. Getting like envelope dust all over my shirt. Okay, another one from Orbit then, from Hachette. This is an arc for a new book by David Dalgleish. This one came very, very close to making my anticipated list, to be honest, but I had to like cut and trim and shape a whole lot. So, but it does look good. Soul Keeper by David Dalgleish, first in a new series called The Keepers. Soul Keeper, the magic has returned, so have the monsters. This one is out, it says March the 19th. And let's see what it's all about. I mean, you know, apart from keeping souls, presumably. With all the excitement of The Witcher and the monster mayhem of D&D, Soul Keeper is the blockbuster new epic fantasy, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Devin Evison is a soul keeper traveling through remote villages as a preacher and healer. But when a mysterious black water rushes over the world, the veil is torn, flooding the land with ancient magic and forgotten races. Fire that dances as if alive, corpses that walk, and creatures that can manipulate time itself. And not all the creatures that have reawakened remember humanity fondly. Well, they wouldn't, would they? But anyway, Soul Keeper, as I said, from David Dalgleish, Orbit Books, comes out March the 19th. Okay, getting close to the bottom of the stack. And we have this one now from HarperCollins. All right, this is one that I got as an ARC a few weeks back. It looked pretty interesting, still does. This is one that I'm really intrigued by. It's called The Lost Puzzler. The author is Ale Kless, and it comes out January the 8th, very soon, and it's a debut novel. It says equal parts lyrical dystopian fantasy and high-octane cyberpunk. This novel is a propulsive read that will redefine what you think of post-apocalyptic fiction. Kless, a professional violinist by trade, writes with the style of a great musician. Interesting. This is the first in the Tarakan Chronicles duology, reminiscent of Mad Max Fury Road by way of the Canterbury Tales. An unlikely combination, but one that makes more and more sense the deeper into Kless's multifaceted world you get. Okay, this looks cool. Set in a world similar to our own. He drew inspiration from growing up in Israel as a boy. In the mysterious city of towers, here it goes. The center of the destroyed Tarakan Empire, a lowly scribe of the Guild of Historians, is charged with a dangerous assignment. He must venture into the wilds beyond the glass and steel towers to discover the fate of a child who mysteriously disappeared more than a decade before. Sounds a bit like Black Leopard, Red Wolf coming up, that same premise. Born of a rare breed of marked people, the child, Rafik, known as the Key, was one of a special few, with the power to restore this lost civilization to glory once again. In a world riven by fear and violence, where tattooed mutants, manic truckers, warring guilds, and greedy mercenaries battle for survival, this one boy may have single-handedly destroyed humanity's only chance for salvation, unless the scribe can figure out what happened to him. Okay, sounds intriguing. And it is out January the 8th from Harper Voyager. Let me know in the comments. We're closing in, folks. 3 packages left to go. This one, the next 3 are these white envelopes, so they could all be Tor books, I'm going to think. Let's see what we have. All right, this is interesting to see. This is a book called Blood of 10 Kings. The author is Edward Lazzolari, and this has been out. This came out on the 4th of December, actually. But this is the 3rd book in a trilogy that actually started a while back, I think. You know, like the David Keck trilogy that just had the 3rd volume come out, like it came out a long time ago and then it quit and then they brought it back. This is like a similar situation, apparently. The first couple of books in this trilogy were called Awakenings, and then The Lost Prince was the second one. And those were like 2010, 2011. And then the 3rd one never came out. Now it's out, so it looks like they may be trying to give this one a second chance, as it were. But it's the explosive conclusion, it says, to the Guardians of Andor series. Final battle between good and evil, the Guardians must unite in the face of terrible odds or see their world surrendered. That kind of a thing. The impression that I got from looking at the first couple of books is that it's a crossover fantasy. It says in the style of Charles DeLint, Mercedes Lackey, with urban fantasy reminiscent of Jim Butcher in a Hard Knocks action tale. It seems like it is doing that kind of a crossover thing. Like you go from, you know, an urban fantasy setting to a traditional high fantasy setting, you know, with guys in armor and stuff like this. So it could be pretty interesting, but at least they are finishing it up and giving it a chance to finally, you know, come out in the world and be judged. So December the 4th saw the release of Blood of 10 Kings from Tor Books. And next, one I'm very happy to see as well, this is Terran Tomorrow by Nancy Kress. It's the final book in her current trilogy that began with Tomorrow's Kin and If Tomorrow Comes. And now we have Terran Tomorrow. The trilogy is an expansion of her novella Yesterday's Kin. And I believe it's First Contact. Yeah, First Contact Saga, as it were. And this is available. Let me see when. There is a sell sheet in here. Okay. Why not get it out, Thomas? It's helpful. Oh, wow. See, this came out a while back. November the 13th, this one came out. Tor's getting me a lot of finished copies. They've been doing it kind of late, to be honest. But at least it's better than nothing, right? And here is the last envelope under the tree for Christmas Eve. Okay, and it's from Tor. Let's see what we have, everyone. And this one is King of the Road by R.S. Belker. And this is the sequel to The Brotherhood of the Wheel, a book that, to be honest, I really, really wish I had already gotten off my ass and taken the time to read, because it looked fascinating to me, still does. Not usually an urban fantasy guy, but I love this premise. This is kind of like a dark, horror-inflected, almost urban fantasy, dealing with the long-haul truckers, that world, right? It's about the Brotherhood of the Wheel. It says a secret society of truckers, bikers, nomads, and others who defend America's roads and rails from unnatural threats lying in wait for unwary travelers. I just kind of like that concept, since I'm someone who has done my fair share of really, really long road trips. And, you know, you stop at the truck stops to take breaks. And, you know that there's this whole world of, you know, people whose job it is to, like, get us the stuff that we buy. And why not, you know, set, you know, kind of a creepy fantasy adventure in that world, right? Missing person case leads to a string of roadside murders and mutilations that stretches back decades, and to a cult of murderous clowns who are far more than urban legends. Well, there you go, right? I mean, murder clowns, how can you lose? Grease paint and lunatic grins are the last things their victims ever see. I mean, that's terrifying, let's be honest. And as if that's not trouble enough, trucker Jimmy Ossipile and his allies must also cope with a violent civil war within an outlaw biker gang long associated with the Brotherhood, as well as run-ins with a rival gang led by a fierce werewolf, a fierce werewolf biker chick, who fights tooth and claw to protect her pack. It just keeps getting better. From Depression-era hobo camps to a modern-day trailer park hiding unearthly secrets, fear lurks just beyond the headlights for the kings of the road. And guess what? This has been optioned, Brotherhood of the Wheel, for a possible television series. But Brotherhood of the Wheel came out from Tor Books in hardcover on December the 4th, and this reminds me, I did get an email from this publicist. They are running a giveaway right now. There is a giveaway available for this, and what you can get is a copy of both books, and you get, I don't have one here, but like a ball cap, like a trucker hat with Brotherhood of the Wheel on it. You can get all of that as a little promo package. If that sounds interesting to you, tell you what, go ahead, shoot me an email at tmws@sff180.com. Let's say subject line Brotherhood. Okay, we'll do it that way. Email me with subject line Brotherhood. Include your snail mail address. If you're here in the States only, I'm afraid. They can't do it overseas. You got to be in the U.S. Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll just I'll randomly pick some folks and send that information off to Tor, and you'll get a couple of books, both these books, and a ball cap to adorn your dome while you read the books. Okay, King of the Road, now out from Tor Books. And there you have it. As you see, it was a big, big collection this week, right? Some pretty interesting looking stuff. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you want me to prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, share the video far and wide with all your SFF reading friends, and please subscribe. If you haven't done so, getting close to that 6,000. Let's help push it over, shall we? You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, like I said at the beginning. Please consider that. To all my current patrons, thank you so much for your wonderful additional support. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. My artist appreciates it. And I want to thank all the rest of you for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube. I want to wish all of you very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever it is you celebrate. I don't care, just please be safe and sound and join me throughout the new year. Let's make 2019 really awesome. Shall we? Okay. Until I see all of you next time, Merry Christmas and happy reading.